Hi, so we are, I was gonna say we were recording. So welcome to Detox Rocks. This is part of a 5-part series that I'm gonna be doing called the 5 Keys to Great Health. 5 keys to great health are establishing an alkaline pH, missing the L there, that's okay. Establishing an alkaline pH, restoring and stabilizing hormone balance, detoxification, immune-specific concerns, and then rejuvenation. So a lot of people would like to go right to rejuvenation. You cannot rejuvenate something that does not have an alkaline pH, that is not hormonally supported, and that it's not been detoxed. Or if you have immune concerns going on, that's not possible. So a lot of the things on the market today are telling you to rejuvenate with them. How are you going to do that if you have something toxic? It would be like polishing something, but leaving the dirt on it. It will not work. We're going to start with alkalization, even though we're going into detox. We're just going to hit on this a little bit, okay? We want to restore the alkaline body pH, potential hydrogen, okay? So what does this mean? It means we will start testing our first morning urine pH. Because what we have found is that your first morning urine pH correlates to both tissue oxygen and soft tissue oxygen and mineral levels. This is really important because if you don't have those minerals in that soft tissue, they can't do the functions that they're supposed to do. These minerals are calcium, magnesium, and trace minerals. And those minerals are the currency, the literal currency for your organs and glands, for the cells of your body, okay? First morning urine pH. A lot of you have done this. What is yours? 5.0 to 7.0 is the paper that we normally give people. That's the measure where we're going to be measuring. 5.0 will be very acidic. And all the way over above 7.0 would be very alkaline. We're going to go into what that means. If our pH is lower than 6.0, we have a bone loss issue. Okay? We have sick, infected bone. And if that's the case, how are you going to be able to support the rest of your system? It's not going to happen. You have infection going on, most likely. If it's over 6.8, warning, warning, warning. I have a lot of people that'll come in, they're like, no, mine's so good, it's so alkaline. That's actually a scary thing. There's probably infection going on, and we need to get to work pretty fast. Even if it's in the green, but you have a health condition going on, then what's probably going on is you're making ammonia and buffering the blood. So there is some work that we need to do to get you an actual alkaline pH. What's the solution to all of this? Minerals. We need coral. So we're going to go through some of the things that we could do. The first phase in pH is a sodium buffering phase. So greens mix, it's fantastic. Maybe things like coral calcium, maybe things that have more nutrients in it for bone infection. But what is key? Kidney and parathyroid support. That's what we're going to get into tonight. How important our kidney energy is and how we detox that. Kidney support could be things like DHA. Why? DHA is an oil, and every cell in your body has a lipid around it. So we can give the body lipids that it can use. Those cells can resonate higher, and now you need less nutrition overall. But you might need some specific herbs and other things for kidney support. Why do you need kidney and parathyroid support when we're talking about pH? That is how your body uptakes minerals. So if your kidney energy and your parathyroid energy are low, I don't care how many minerals you take, you will not uptake them. And if you can't uptake those minerals, you're throwing a lot of money away, and you're doing everything for naught. So that's why it's important to work with somebody so that we know what we're doing. Special considerations. If you have kidney disease, then we need to talk. We're going to start taking minerals. You need to be working with somebody so that they can help you with specifics. If there's carbon monoxide issues going on, then we also need to talk. But your pH will not go up until we stop with the carbon monoxide. How would you be getting this? If you work on engines, if you are a mechanic, things like that. If there's infection in the teeth, your pH is going to be stuck and it's going to have a hard time going up. There can also be other infections in the body. So a lot of times people want to do the bare minimum. They don't realize how deeply seated these things are. Another thing that can really help is HCl detox kit. We're going to get into that a little. Fourth, your diet. Your diet is ultimately one of the most important things that you can do for the overall health of your body. Anybody that tells you you do not have to work on diet and you can get healthy is kidding themselves, and they have an issue, because it's not true. We need to decrease high protein diets. A high protein diet may look like the pH is high, but that's because it's putting stress on the kidneys. Doesn't mean you can't have a moderate protein diet, but a high protein diet is really, really hard on the body. We need to eliminate seed oils. We need hydration. What's a key for hydration? A lot of people here know is you need real salt to be able to uptake that hydration into the cell. So we can be drinking a lot of water and not hydrating. We can actually be, to some extent, dehydrating without that salt. We need to eliminate chemical and fake foods. We need to reduce or eliminate sugar. And we need to adopt a whole food diet. Now, some people are going to need specifics with their diet, and we can do that. But overall, a whole food diet, something like the Biofield, which we can give you, or paleo diet, is going to be really beneficial for most people. We're going to go to detox now. Detoxing the body. First thing you want to do when you're detoxing the body is identify the current toxic burden on the body, right? And then start to employ appropriate protocols. Then you get into deep cellular detox. Deep cellular detox, remethylation. So we want to use something like our HCl detox kit so we can start remethylating the body. What is HCl? It's hydrochloric acid, it's stomach acid. And most people do not have enough. And if you don't have enough stomach acid, you can't digest your food. And if you can't digest your food, the body starts to break down, sleep starts to get bad, infection starts to inset. We just start to have a breakdown of the system. So we always need to have HCl support. This is the critical thing. If you stop everything else, you never stop HCl. Because what happens when you stop HCl? You usually reinfect with something. Then we can work on heavy metal detox, getting it out of the brain, getting heavy metals out of the brain, the thyroid, the kidneys, and the other organs. When we are, what is something that helps us with that? Something you can do on your own. Young grass, barley, wheat, and oat grasses are really great to start detoxing heavy metals. Things like open cell wall chlorella really helps as well. But here's key. To be able to detox heavy metals out of the body, parathyroid energy and kidney energy have to be on, or you're not really going to be detoxing heavy metals. What you're going to be doing is you're going to be releasing them liberating them from certain areas of the body, circulating them through your system, and then having them land in other places. This is what happens when we are willy-nilly going to a store and buying a heavy metal thing, or when we're working with a practitioner that doesn't understand the pathways of the body. You cannot detox heavy metals out of the body without the pathways being open and without being supported at the kidneys and parathyroid. After that, or while we're doing that, we also want to start with detoxing pesticides and insecticides and things like that. What's something that can help with that? Modified citrus pectin or our Mediclay FX. So Mediclay FX is calcium aluminum silicate, and that's going to help bind persistent organic pollutants. Persistent organic pollutants are what's on our food, even our organics. We want to eat organic. I would say you want to eat 100% organic, not just whenever possible. You really want to eat organic because the body cannot take those pesticides and insecticides. But even on the organics, there are persistent organic pollutants, NPK. Now, years ago in the 70s, before we really started messing with the food in America, if you had a plate of 5 or 6 foods, you might have 1 persistent organic pollutant on each of those foods. You might be getting 5 or 6 per meal. Now, there's at least 7 on each of those foods. So you're taking in upwards of 40 persistent organic foods with every meal you ingest. And if it's chemical food, it's much higher. We're going to talk about the kidneys because this is the first pathway that we really want open. The only caveat to that is if you're not regularly going to the bathroom and having bowel movements, we do want to get those bowels working. And so we would take a step back. But if that's going, we want to start here. The kidney, so kidney support, how do we do this? The kidney meridians is the root of our life. That's traditional Chinese medicine. It is the key to our success in detoxing. In traditional Chinese medicine, all health issues can be related back to the kidneys, all health issues. So if you are working on something and they're not supporting your kidneys, or you're not supporting your kidneys, it's not going to work in the way that you want it to. Weak energy at the kidney system is going to equal chronic health issues, issues that aren't going away, issues that keep coming up. Before we can move back to great health, we have to strengthen the energy of the kidney. It's the only way to move back to great health, to even begin to do so. So the kidney system is our reservoir of energy, okay? Our kidney system is that reservoir of energy. And what I see with most practitioners is they want to take care of it in the first or second appointment, and then they just blow past it. We have to make sure that the kidney energy is on all the time. All the time. It's our reservoir of energy. So it's called the minister of power. And so if we tonify the kidney system, that means we have energy on demand. So if you're fatigued and you don't have energy on demand, guess what? You need to tonify kidney energy. Now we get into my lovely man guy here. I worked on him, but I'm just not the artist. So our kidney channel pathway. It's really important to look at because if you know me, you know there's a lot of things I like to do with the physical body. Meaning, it's not just about taking herbs. We have to clear the old injuries and infections from the outside of the body. So we're looking at this pathway. Where does the kidney energy pathway start? At the pinky toe. It goes up inside of the leg, inside of the knee, right up here. And when it gets here, you're seeing it's going into the tailbone right there. And then it's going up the front channel of the body and ending up at the tongue and the throat, okay? So if we have any past injuries, impacts, tattoos, surgeries along this pathway, we need to restore that imbalance. If we don't restore that imbalance, our body can't uptake the nutrients to the best effect. It means you're going to have to use a wheelbarrow of nutrition where you could have used a thimble. So your program is going to be much more expensive. You want to get to do what? Mud path. We want to clear these interference fields. What is an interference field? It's an old injury that may have healed on the body or may not have, but is not healed in the energy field. Now, left over time, that's going to be like water torture on the body energetically. That means your body's going to start to break down. So many times, if we have an infection, if we have an old injury, we're just using an antibiotic or a steroid or something on it. Well, it may clear here, but it's not going to clear in your energy field, and you're going to start to get breakdown in the system. Why is that dangerous? When we're specifically talking about the kidney channel pathway. Well, the kidneys regulate our mineral balance. We talked about that. You have to have the kidneys on to take those minerals up into the body and to begin the healing process. They're the key. They're a key function in our immune system. They regulate our acid alkalinity balance. They stimulate and clear. Sorry, I just need to bring this closer to me. The thinking mind. They stimulate and clear the thinking mind. So when your mind is going kind of wild, you need kidney support. Okay. They provide a source of vitality, okay? So when you're not feeling vital and like you have energy, your kidneys need support. They need to be tonified. They are the seat of our courage and our confidence, seat of our courage and our confidence and our will. They are also, when they need to be tonified, that's where your fear is coming from. So if you're in a state of fear and you're overthinking, you need more support of the kidneys. And so we should definitely test your kidneys. They help with fluid balance of the intestine. The large intestine does as well, but the kidneys do as well. The kidneys and the little hats that sit on top of them, the adrenals, first function is fluid balance of the intestines. So when we are in a fearful state, where we have a lot of anxiety, constipation is something that will happen. And if that goes on long enough, it can oscillate between constipation and diarrhea, because diarrhea is just the other side. It's actually just a continuation of constipation. It's the fluid balance is off, and basically like the thermometer is going up and down like this. So we need to regulate that thermostat. They're also hearing function. So if we're having issues with our hearing, kidneys. If we're having issues with our teeth, kidneys. If we are having control of our internal inherent healing system, kidney energy needs to be tonified. Because guess what else the kidneys do? They are the director of building the skeleton and of the soft tissue. So anything going on with injuries in the body, when people come in, they're like, my knee hurts. Look at the kidneys. Okay, that's a lot of information, but basically you're seeing everything in the body goes back to those kidneys. That is the first thing we need to get energetically on. When we're talking about traditional Chinese medicine, I always like to give the candle analogy, and that is this. We have three treasures in the body: our qi, our jing, and our shen. And the candle perfectly illustrates this. Most of us are used to thinking about qi, right? The breath, the life force in the body. Well, that would be the flame, okay? Our jing is our primordial energy. It's what we're born with. It's the structure. It's the actual candle. If you damage that actual candle, our actual kidneys, if you damage that, that is very hard to reverse. So we want to do all that we can to not bring damage there. That's your jing, the actual candle. The light would be your qi. That's your light force. Now, if you have a really great candle, it makes sense you'll have a really great flame, right? Now, shen. What is shen? It's the illumination. It's your radiance that you put out into the world. If somebody is walking around and they have a lot of radiance, guess what? Their three treasures are in line. It's not a fake radiance. You cannot fake it by pretending to be happy. It is something that you're illuminating. And that shows the health of the body. So one thing I'd like to say is if you know you have past injuries on any of these, we should talk and we should get them mud packed. Because mud packing does what acupuncture has tried to do. It actually clears that block on the body so that now your energy can flow freely and nutrition can get to where it wants to go. And most people need to do an awful lot of mud packing because most of us have had an awful lot of injuries. So the solution, what can we do? What can we do for our kidneys? How can you start today? You can start by using tonifying herbs. We have our 5-day kidney kits. So for people that are like, I am not willing to fully commit to 30-day programs, 60-day programs, 1-year programs, start with a 5-day kidney cleanse, okay? It's gonna give you the herbs to tonify. It's going to help you get on a better path to start. 5-day detox kits. Other things you can do, Renoven. Renoven has that hydrangea in it, which helps dissolve excess calcium. You should be taking calcium, but why would you have excess calcium in the kidneys? Not because you're taking too much, because your body is eating your own because you don't have enough. Now you're getting calcium deposits in the kidneys, then you're going to get urinary issues, right? It has cordyceps in it, which are mushrooms that are going to help you feel awake and alive. They are in traditional Chinese medicine called the kidney tonic. It has alfalfa in it, which is going to work as a mild diuretic to help flush your body. Rhodiola, known to me as the queen of the herbs. I love rhodiola, but it is the best thing for kidney disease. So if you know anybody with kidney disease, you want to get them on something like this. You want to take at least 4 caps of something like Renoven, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Biocompatible botanicals to help rebuild, cleanse, and repair, okay? Then something like kidney support tea, which has ashwagandha, which is adaptogenic, so it's going to give you what you need. Astragalus, which is going to work on any infections. Burdock, which prevents kidney stones. A lot of people have kidney stones. Dandelion, also a diuretic, helps with digestion and immune system. Hawthorn. Hawthorn is one of my favorites because while it helps the kidneys, it works on that kidney cardiovascular axis. So that means it's helping your heart and it's helping you calm down, maintain what we would consider a calm state of being, right? It's helping relieve that anxiety. Marshmallow to help with the intestines, root cleanse and help with the bladder, and nettle leaf, which improves your kidney function. The other thing that you can do, we have it right here, is detox, actual detox, using things like cayenne, things like Cardio-ND. Cardio-ND needs to be used for 4 months. Okay, so if you're going to do something like that, let's talk, let's get you on a specific dose because your body wants that specific dose. But when you do something like Cardio-ND for 4 months and not willy-nilly playing around with it, you're going to change your health. And this also has a ton of hawthorn in it, so you're going to change that mental state. Things like L-acetin, which is garlic, olive leaf, these help with the infections that we carry there. Then we also want to work on the lymph connection because your lymph system and bladder system and kidney system are all intertwined, right? So things like castor oil packing, Lymph Mojo, which I can send you a video on, rebounding, walking, skin brushing, which I can also send you a video on. These are all things that you can do without any expense. You just start doing them. Hydrate. Hydration is the key to so much. Most people are not hydrating enough with salt. And if you're not hydrating enough, you might be taking herbs, you might be eating a good diet, but guess what? The nutrients can't get to where they need to go. So what will happen? The nutrients might stay in the torso, they won't get to your limbs. In your brain and head are limbs. So then you're going to be having a lot of issues. You want to go to a moderate protein diet. Please don't do a high protein diet. That is a health problem waiting to happen. If you talk to bodybuilders who want to have, I mentored a lot of bodybuilders, and many bodybuilders that eat extremely high protein diets die of heart attacks because their body cannot take it, it cannot utilize that protein without damaging the heart. And you want to eliminate, you want to have emotional regulation. Emotional regulation. How do we do emotional regulation? Emotional regulation therapy, ERT. Come and see me for EVOPs, resetting courses, up-level courses, and the very new somatic reset course that is starting July 18th. So check that out because that's going to be fantastic. It's 3 weeks. I have deep lymph drainage. So I don't know if you know what lymph is, but it's basically this colorless fluid that flows throughout your whole body. Okay. And if your lymph pathways are jammed or have what people would consider parasites in them, anything without a cell wall, you're going to be having trouble getting your kidney function. So kidney and lymph go together. So what can we do? We can do Big Six. That's critical. So people that skip that but take a lot of nutrients, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. Body works quantum. It means everything affects everything else. You have to do nutrition, you have to do movement, you have to do emotion. Big Six takes under a few minutes a day to do. It is critical to do. And you can all get a video, it's free. HCl detox kit. Let's get ourselves digesting and doing cellular detox. This is the key to everything. Without this, nothing else gets better. If at first you can't take it because you have a scar down your midline or it hurts your belly, it's not because you don't need it, because we have to do some remedial work to get your body to accept it. Older we are, the more we need, okay? So that level of what you're taking usually doesn't go down unless you have something like Lyme disease, and then you will start with a high amount and we'll work you back down. Things like Renavent, things we went over, tonifying herbs, castor oil packs right at those kidneys are beautiful, absolutely beautiful. And on our lymph channel, so if you know that you have stuck lymph in certain areas, you can do castor oil packs right on them. One caveat with the Big Six, which I can demo, you have to do it in the order that I give it. You cannot do it in your own order because lymph works in a very specific way. Same thing with skin brushing. It doesn't work if you just do it along the circulatory system. You have to do it the way the lymph works. Medidental paths. Each one of your teeth has lymph channels. So if we have anything going on with our teeth, we've had dental work, we need to work on clearing those old infections and those old shots of Novocaine and the toxicity from the material. Because otherwise what we're going to do is we're going to have blocked lymph channels. And you do not want blocked lymph channels here. Why? It's going to block lymph to the brain. And now your brain toxicity can't drain. We want to walk, guys. Want to walk. You want to work on walking 1 hour a day. Why? The lymph needs the calves to pump, right? Lymph doesn't have its own pump like the heart pumps our blood. Lymph doesn't have that. It is our movement that pumps it. Being on a bike won't do it. We need those calves to actually pump that lymph. So ways to do that are walking or rebounding. Rebounding, when we're jumping up and down, opens all the lymph gates. It's beautiful. You can rebound for a few minutes every day, or a couple of times a day, to really open those lymph gates. If you've ever been to one of my bounce classes or rebounding classes, always start with the big six first though, because you have to make sure there's no blocks. And then you get those gates opening and closing, and it's beautiful. Have to make sure you're hydrated with that salt. These are all things that you can do on your own, except for the Medidental packs. Okay. Okay. I'm going to work on your emotions. And what I'm going to say about that isn't just saying I've worked on my emotions, because that's not how that works. A lot of people are like, heard the information, I'm different now. That's not how emotions work. You have to put the work in, and then you have to change your behavior to rewire. What wires together, fires together. You have to actually do the work to oppose your patterns. You have to oppose the pattern. And we can do things, what we can do right here are things like resetting course. We can do things, the next thing that I have coming up that would be the most helpful for this is the somatic reset, is the sister course to the reset course. And it's only 3 weeks. And this is where we actually get into mapping the physical injuries on the body when we're restoring trauma and give you ways to clear it out. It's not exercise, and it is not, it's experiential. So it's not a whole bunch of information, although there will be some information. It's experiential. We use a lot of visualization, and we use a lot of intuition. It's going to be really, really helpful. To help the kidneys and the lymph system, we have to reopen those 4 key download areas. You know what they are? Hands and feet. So if we have anything going on with our hands and feet, the kidneys cannot really be online as much as we need them to be. So we have to clear the stagnation. We have to clear the interference fields there, so that we're basically turning our circuit breaker back on. So everybody knows, you have a circuit breaker. Instead of going into each individual circuit, we actually just turn it on, right? Turn it off, turn it back on. Right now, yours is off. So let's turn it back on and start that energy flowing through the body again in a very effective way. And now the body can accept help and actually get healthy. What can you do? What can you do on your own? No money investment, stuff you can just do every day. Non-toxic body care. Get rid of toxic body care. Get rid of toxic makeup, toxic lotions, toxic shampoos, especially toxic deodorants, and never use an antiperspirant. You're going to block your lymph channels. Don't do it to yourself. Get rid of toxic body care. You can look up EWG to see where your body care falls. I really want you to use something that's EWG certified or like a 1. Okay, I'm going to take a look at that. Non-toxic cleaning products. You're taking all of that in right through your skin, because your skin is your 5th kidney. So anything that you're using or applying to yourself, perfume, even essential oils can be really toxic if we're not microdosing. Non-toxic cleaning products. So if you're going to make something out of essential oils for cleaning products, microdoses. I am a big proponent of steam cleaning, so we're not using any kind of chemical. Most people want to use things to clean their home that smell a certain way. Turn that bottle over. I promise you there's stuff in there. Even things like Miss Myers. A lot of people are like, oh no, that's totally healthy. It is not. That is toxic. steam and maybe some essential oils. Pure Haven is a good one. There's basically, I think, about 5 non-toxic companies out there for cleaning products, and that's it. So also thinking about laundry detergent and dryer sheets and all kinds of things like that. You're taking that all in, and even dishwasher liquid and capsules. That's just all going right into your body. EMF protection. So that hits the kidneys as well. So looking into services like we have Powerhouse to remediate your electricity, your water, your computers, all of that is hitting your body and tearing your kidney energy down. EMF phone protectors and computer protectors, that's something pretty inexpensive that most people can afford, top right on, so that you stop the EMS. These are repeater phones. What does that mean? It's not like the old flip phones, although those are pretty bad too now. It means that a phone, if I'm holding it, if you're not, it's gonna go through you. And if you were standing behind him, it would go through him to you, creating damage. On a cellular level, all of the studies have been done. Your tumors growing almost from the outside in, okay? So you, and dropping testosterone like crazy because men carry them in their pants pockets. We are a nation, or world basically, that has dropped our reproduction rates. That's not good. That means our bodies, our countries are getting sicker and sicker, more and more sick. And a lot of it, yes, it's the food, because the nutrition has just gone way down. Even if you eat the healthiest organic diet, the nutrition has gone down so far that if you were to eat 1 apple from the 50s, it would take 50 apples today to get that nutrition. That's why just a nutritious diet is not enough. But people back then didn't have this stuff anymore. You're getting hit with all kinds of EMFs that most people are not even aware of. So let's get some protection on. Air purifiers, water purifiers, critical, right? Especially if you live in town. If you live in the country, you can open your windows and that works well. But if you live in town, all the petrochemicals going by, going right into that liver, okay? So we want to make sure we're having air purifiers, water purifiers. For water purification, I recommend reverse osmosis and adding minerals to it. I do not recommend distilled water. It's going to pull your minerals out. And there's a lot of people in health that are really recommending distilled water, and they don't understand what it's doing to the kidneys and how it's pulling minerals out of your body. The only time I use distilled water is if somebody has used alkaline water for too long and I need to pull that over mineralization out of the body because it's doing too much harm. And then our diet. Your diet's on you. So let's talk, because we can do so much with diet. Okay, that's always the first place to start. Some people are more comfortable starting with the toxic body care and then moving to diet. That's okay. Start with any of these. Let's get it done, right? And going back, right? Detox. That was the first step of detox. We can always get into okay. After kidneys, liver and gallbladder, and then bowels. And that's how we're going to be going, okay? But we don't need to start there until the kidneys are online. So a lot of times people want to come right in, they want to work on parasites, they want to work on all kinds of things. Sometimes we will. Sometimes we will, because that thing is doing so much damage. We're just going to put you on enough support. But let's tonify those kidneys. Let's do things that are going to get your lymph flowing and get you to uptake nutrition more readily, so your body can start healing itself, right? Because ultimately, your body does the healing. Ultimately, God and your body do the healing. We're just providing the tools, okay? Now we'll take questions. Any questions? That's a comment, it's not a question. But anybody have questions? Anybody dealing with anything that we're talking about?
I think I know what it is, maybe.
Okay, I can show you the big six. So the big six is Dr. Perry. Dr. Perry is a chiropractor that had a ton of health issues. He had so much nutritional knowledge, but still his body was sick. It was breaking down with autoimmune and he didn't know what to do. So what happened is he was just talking about it online. He's like, can somebody help me? I'm trying this, I'm trying that, nothing's working. somebody in the UK was like, hey, I think you should come to my seminar. You know, I think I know what's going on with you. He got there and the person looked at him and said, I think you have a lymph issue. Dr. Perry started the Big Six, and I believe within a couple months lost 30 pounds. His lymph channels were so blocked from all kinds of things that he was not able, he wasn't eating to have that access on. He had all of this fluid retention. So what the Big Six is you always start with the collarbones. And what I take my class through is above and below the collarbone. You're gonna run from inner to outer. And people ask, do you rub hard? Do you rub light? Yes. Rub hard and do it. So you want to do about 10 swipes. Then you want to do about 10 taps. Then you want to do about 10 circles, 5 one way, 5 the other. Then you can go to the other side. And you'll already feel as you're doing this. Why does everybody stand up and do it? There's one thing you'll notice. So start with 1 and just do it in about 10. That tap. That circle. Get really in there. You want to melt into your body. Okay. One way, then the other. Now let's do the other side. So literally melt into your body. We're never pounding on our body. We're never tapping our body. We're never injuring our body. Tap. And circle one way. And then the other. And then I just, because I was going to say, as you do that, you already feel these starting to drain. These fingers in front and behind the ear, really high up. Okay, because you're going and you're getting in line with C1. So you're going to go way high up. Now tap. It's better to do than to write down, and that's because it patterns it in your body. Circle one way, you circle the other. And then right here, I just like to slide down because that's the channel. One arm out. Now, sometimes people confuse this and they do the shoulder. It's where the arm and the armpit meet the body. So you go across. And then you tap. And you can already start to feel your head draining. Circle one way, and then the other. And if you're very toxic, sometimes when you first start doing this, you might feel a little nauseous. So you need to hydrate. Okay? Tap. And circle. This is probably the biggest thing that people skip because they think it's not that big of a deal. Let me tell you, I started doing this, and in about with no other changes, I went down, I think, 2 jean sizes under the ribs. I had a pair of jeans that was no way were they ever going to fit me. I thought they were going to fit. They not that I had had them for years. I just started doing this and got the inkling to try them on. And bam. The whole entire belly. Now, the belly, you could do about 50 squats right here. Full thing, way down low, way up high. Now circle. Now this one's going to be cute because I'm in a dress. But you come out and you go right into the groin. I don't have a lot of shame, so we'll just do it. Chop. And then circle. One way and then the other. Then you bring the feet forward, slightly bend over, go behind the knees. Rub. Tap. And then circle one way and then the other to roll up. And then you're going to not jump, but lift the heels up and down. You're just going to lift the heels up and down and let the body vibrate. You do that for about 30 seconds. Also, it's really hard if you do jump and not feel happy because you can't be sad when you jump. That's why I suggest rebounding. Breathe in, breathe out, and just take a deep breath in. And a deep breath out. Deep breathing is also really good for the lymphatic system. So I suggest you start every day with that. And if you miss it in the morning, do it before you exercise. Do it before you're doing any walk. It's going to help a ton. You know, you want to give your body every advantage it can have. And if you're going to spend money on supplementation and on practitioners, best do the work at home because herb only works if you work with herb. You know, that's Ron Telegarden, and he's king of herbs. Herb only works if you work with herb. And I used to not understand that. What it means is you have to change your lifestyle. Work the herb, work the emotions. Anybody have any other questions?
Video on Fixit?
Oh, yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
awesome.
I will email it to you, I'll just email
I
it to
think I
everybody.
know it by heart, but I
Right,
just.
it's
wanna
good
make
to
sure.
follow along,
Yeah.
it's good to give your clients, it's great. You should make a video, pop it on your channel, okay, excellent. Any other questions? Okay, cool, guys, anybody that came today, we have, 5-day kidney
Detox, yeah.
detox kits.
Yep.
That are normally 97, they're 10% off.
No, today it's actually
Oh.
for everyone here, it's actually $75.
So they're 75, normally 97.
Correct.
And that's a great way to sort of dipping your toes into doing things like this.
That's actually the 5-day detox that she mentioned
Yeah.
earlier that had
Yeah.
the, okay, I didn't-
All the nutrients
Yeah,
that I
yeah.
talked about
I couldn't.
for
I
your
see
actual
you-
kidneys. Mention them all, it's all in there.
Yeah.
And what does it consist of? Doesn't it feel? It consists of making a tea every day to sip all day. Okay. Taking a few caps, and a little cayenne. Then there also comes with recipes, right? Recipes for potassium broth because your kidneys need potassium. Okay, most of us are not getting enough potassium. So you want to balance your sodium and your potassium. Beautiful. The other thing you could do is make potato broth, but potassium broth doesn't have potatoes in it. So potassium broth recipe, and then gives you a very minimal diet, in just 5 days. It's not the diet you do for the rest of your life. It's a small diet for 5 days and gives you hydration tips and a few other things. But it's a great way to start. And then everybody that came tonight or that's watching online is also going to get a 20% off coupon for their next appointment with myself or Beef. So anything like that, or anybody that you give a detox kit to, they can have that as well. Except for the only thing that there is no discount on is the somatic reset because that is done through another facility. So, but that is currently $247 for the 3 weeks, and that is 1/3 of the price it will be. It's not at that facility. So check it out. Yeah, that's the little booklet that goes along with that. I'm missing. Anybody else have any questions?
I didn't know.
Or did anybody need anything tested today? Because I also love it.
What was the dental, like, detox event?
Yeah, so dental, so with mud packing, you have to come in and get tested because you're going to have to do it with Medi Dental Pack. It's called something else now. And we have to see where the coincident point is. It's going to be different for each tooth, but each one of your teeth corresponds to an organ of the lymph system. And so if you have something going on with the tooth, definitely have something going on with the gland system. Also, each tooth has lymph channels, okay? And here's something most people don't know. Each one of your teeth has little microtubules, okay? That it's not just sugar sitting on your teeth that decays your teeth. It's actually not really fully it. What it is when you eat something, anything you eat comes up through your teeth within 7 minutes. And if you have an infection going on, any kind of parasitic infection, your parotid gland is supposed to shoot that fluid through the teeth, to sucking bacteria in. So those microtubules, instead of healing your teeth, you hear a lot about mineralization, remineralizing your teeth. Good fucking luck. If you have any kind of infection going on in the body, you can put minerals on your teeth all day. But what's happening is your mechanism has been reversed. And so if I'm shooting a hose at you, right? Like I'm shooting a hose at you, you can't get in there. That's how your teeth are supposed to work. When that mechanism is reversed, I'm now sucking bacteria in. So you can put minerals on that all day, but that's not going to remineralize your tooth. And if we have dental problems, we need to get the kidneys on. We need enough salt, we need enough minerals to get our pH up. So we want to work with pH. We have to mud pack the teeth though, because what's going to happen is all those interference fields are going to all the organ and lymph systems, and then you're going to have breakdown energetically of the system until you then functionally have breakdown. Same thing if you have braces, have to mud pack, or people that have the bars behind their, you want to get those out. You want to start wearing like a Invisalign retainer, you don't want to buy that. Did you have one? Yeah, okay. I have a lot of clients that have had the bottom post. Yes, yes. Makes no sense, right? I had Invisalign and then we permanently installed metal into our mouth. So now we are currently constantly tearing our kidneys down. constantly tearing the kidneys and the adrenals down. And the front teeth is right behind the bottom, front teeth, not the top, right? Bottom. That area right there specifically goes to the bladder. Or on a man with prostate. So you can get it out and you can get it.
Yeah,
because a lot
I've
of-
talked to.
Talk about it. And I can talk to him about it too, because he's not always in line with everything I am,
Yeah.
so we can talk. I'm seeing him Tuesday, so we'll talk. We'll talk. Does anybody else have any questions? No? So just, I don't know, maybe you. Hey, did you have any questions? No? Okay, that was a lot of information. Soak it in, process it. For me, I process best a few days, and then I have questions. So if you do, reach out and I will answer them for you. Okay, guys? And never, yes. But the directions. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, and also, this is strange, you know me, and you know him. So, anybody here, you get anything, you know, we always have open communication. If you buy a kit from us, we're gonna help support that, right?
But also all the directions are. in
Yes.
the kit.
And so this month was kidneys, next month is going to be liver, so we're gonna take a deep dive into the liver. And with the liver, there's going to be a mini detox that you could try, and a master detox. Because the liver has 600 functions. We want to get that puppy pumping because that's the key to losing fat. That's the to fat metabolization. That's the key to good digestion. It's the key to good sleep. You know, you're not really going to have good health until we get that liver on. But we have to have those kidneys working first, right? And as soon as we get those kidneys pumping, we want that liver to be on because that handles fat soluble toxins. If it's overloaded, it's going to start dropping into the kidneys, which can only handle water soluble toxins. So that does a lot of damage, you know.
What do you mean, what do you mean by that?
Well, we're going to have
Different
a different tier. So we're going to have a 7-day, it's a 7-day liver detox that you can do. Not a big commitment, do it on your own. Then we're going to have a larger one we can test it. Okay, so start working on bugs, start working on deeper. So with the liver, you can start with mini. Then you really want to get rid of those parasites because they're almost always going to be there in that power chain. And then you're going to want to think about gallbladder flushing.
So what do you do, the mini first and then?
The mini is there if you're not ready to commit. Oh, if you're ready to commit, let's go all the way, okay? But after you get rid of your parasites, you want to start gallbladder flushing. You want to start, and you're going to be working with coffee enemas and things like that. We're going to really turn the health up, you know? Because then we're going to get into the intestines, which have all kinds of other bugs going on. So we want to take care of it systematically without being overwhelmed to go month to month, right? Thank you. You're welcome. Well, Maria, do you have any questions? You usually have some.
Yeah, I know, I know. I guess it's more like specific, because obviously, since I work with you, I don't, and some of the things that you mentioned already are part of my program. So
Right.
like,
Why
would doing like, the 5-day.
It would be lovely for you. I do the 5-day all the time as like a bump up all the time. I love to make kidney tea. It's very soothing, especially when I have a lot of wind going on in my body, meaning when my mind is over processing and I'm not grounding down, right? That's something that I incorporate quite a bit. It doesn't interact with anything you're taking that would make it not work for you. It's going to up level,
Typically.
right? So a lot of times people come in and I tell them what they need. And then they choose to take part of that, or they're like, I'm here for a mini thing. And in most cases, people need a lot more than you're actually giving them. I'm usually meeting somebody where they're willing and able to work, right? Appropriate for everyone. Appropriate. We had somebody in earlier that literally just got diagnosed with kidney disease. Perfect for them. Perfect. And so if somebody was going to start with something, I would start with a 5-day detox. And then if they wanted to bump it up, we've got HCL and greens mix. That's how that would work to initially start. With somebody already on a program, could you do a 5-day? Yes, 100%. Beautiful, beautiful. That's gonna be my question too, because I brought my list. Like, yeah, does it go with this? Yes, because in this, we're not working on any current infection. So if a mini cleanse for the kidneys would be this, we want to do the maximum cleanse for the kidneys, we get you on cardio ND. I know it says cardio, but that's because the kidneys in traditional Chinese medicine interplay with the vascular system. And so anybody that has, well, because think about this, emotionally, if you're in fear, where do you feel it? Anxiety, you feel it in the heart, you're connected. We have things like nanobacteria from eating cooked food. Every time you eat cooked food without HCl, you're taking in nanobacteria that is affecting your vascular tree. And so is it ever appropriate to eat cooked food without HCl? No. Not in today's world, it's not. We've used upper methyl groups, so we can no longer do that. Even small children need things like pink salt to be able to maintain their HCl. By the time we're 30, this is gone. And in most cases that I'm seeing in office, it's gone much prior to that. The elderly, good example, die of malnutrition, not because they're eating bad food, because they cannot digest their food. So ask yourself, am I constantly hungry even after I've eaten? One, you could be eating the wrong foods, but I guarantee you're not digesting correctly. You're not uptaking the nutrients, which keep that constant, right? So a maximum or a more full kidney protocol would be HCl, cardio-ND. Cardio-ND would be for 4 months minimum, and Renavent, because you have to pair whatever you're using to work on an organ and gland system with an organ and gland targeting product. So we just have so many people out there just pulling shit off shelves and hoping it works. And most of it, which we didn't even get into, has magnesium stearate in it. If you have magnesium stearate in your products, you're doing cellular damage. And I can give you all the studies on it. I can make photocopies of it for you. It is affecting your B cells, it's affecting your T cells, it's promoting cancer. It is banned in the UK. Do not go to Whole Foods. Do not use most professional lines. Turn the bottle over. Look what's in there. You're promoting something that's causing tumor growth. Don't do it. Don't spend money on things that are going to damage you. You know, I have a lot of practitioners or people that work for other practitioners. They get discounts on other professional lines. And they come in and I test them on their kidneys. It knocks the kidney energy right off. And what we learned tonight, the kidney energy's off. That's not helping you. It is damaging you. Okay. But that would be the same for anything that has talc in it or silicon dioxide, anything like that. But any kind of magnesium, any kind of stearate, vegetable stearate, that's just a nice way of saying magnesium stearate. They're using it to get the nutrition in the cap, and it's destroying the nutrition. Also, never take a tablet, chewable. It's just been compressed nutrition, it's like dog food now, nutrition is gone. Okay, so you're always wanting to work with something that is the best with the dose that your body's asking. I don't even remember who asked me that question. Anything else? Cool. So just to let you know, we are, as of right now, having our liver talk on, I believe we're having our liver talk on July 24th. And that one is a $25 fee. However, that $25 fee can go to any product. It's just so that we know that you're coming. You still save your spot, and it can go towards any product. So you don't lose it. It's not for the talk. So hold your spot, and then you can get in. And that one's going to be on the liver, which is so much fun. It's a seat of anger, so a lot of people need it. Self-included.
Is that gonna be the same time?
It's probably gonna be the same time.
You have a question. At the
Yeah.
beginning, you mentioned kidney and then thyroid. Would addressing the kidney first and then thyroid be it, or
You have to do together.
together?
So if you have a thyroid issue, I guarantee you that there's a kidney issue. You've probably heard of like the adrenal thyroid axis. Thyroid axis, you have to address the kidney. So somebody just looking at somebody and going, oh, you need some thyroid support, you need some hormone, you need some Synthroid, you need some whatever animal glandular for it, isn't going to work unless you're supporting those kidneys as well, because that's usually where it's coming from, right? So think about the energetics of it. I'm afraid to talk. I'm afraid to use my voice, right? So that won't work. And also, typically what's going on at the thyroid is that there's heavy metals collecting at the parathyroid. And most practitioners are not taking care of that. They're just, even if they test, they're testing the thyroid and not the parathyroid. Parathyroid controls the thyroid. And how are they getting those heavy metals? Dental work. and any kind of vaccine. It's gonna collect there and we can start to get all kinds of issues. Food, so if antibodies are high, and the diet is an issue, we're gonna have to change that diet. And what we do know is this. If you give them something like Google solution, because you might, iodine. It might help the thyroid. Issue is if you have something going on with the thyroid, you also are probably gonna start at some point to have an issue going on with the breasts and the uterus and or the man reproductive area. And Google solution will only work for the thyroid, it won't take care of breast. You have to use a live side. So, so remember in the beginning, we talked about the thyroid and parathyroid. One of the first things I do with somebody is get those kidneys on and get the parathyroid on. Now the thyroid will take in some nutrition. And then you can start detoxing there. With stuff like zeolite, I see, I don't know if any of you on social media, they're using zeolite like crazy as the magical mineral. They're doing so much damage. You can't use, or you should not use zeolite more than 2 weeks at a time without rotating it. And they're just, oh yeah, they might be calling it something else, but it's gonna help with radiation at the thyroid. What affects our thyroid? Radiation, right? That's why you wanna get an ear back protector on there. We're getting hit with it everywhere. And heavy metals, radiation, vaccines, teeth, diet, but you're always gonna need the kidneys to support. Welcome. And if you do ever have anybody, I know you work someplace natural, and somebody comes in and asks for your advice, talking to them about the differences between their competencies, why you can't recommend it, you've given them information. Okay, and then you can also talk to them. I would always prefer somebody try natural first before they go on a medication. Once you're on a thyroid medication, you're rarely going to get off of it because you shut down the loop. Hypothalamus, pituitary thyroid, shut the loop off. That's really hard to do that. Yes, yeah.
Yeah, they keep popping up.
Yeah, so, as far as the non-toxic cleaners.
Yes.
Can you send a list of those?
100% I can do that. I also highly suggest a steamer, steam and white. That would be my number one thing that I would say. And then I'll send you a list of some other products.
Okay.
Pure Haven is one at the top, and I can give you, I don't sell Pure Haven, but I have a contact that does. Right in Newburyport. You've actually probably been to her house. We've done booty in her yard. She might have been in her house. Nicole, yeah. But I will send you that. Oh,
Okay.
you didn't do that. I'm just talking.
Okay.
But I will do that.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, guys. Excellent. Really, really good to see you. Thank you. Let's do it.